The Prelude by William Wordsworth. Book 6. A passing word erewhile did lightly touch on wanderings of my own, that now embraced with livelier hope a region wider far, when the third summer freed us from restraint. A youthful friend, he too a mountaineer, not slow to share my wishes, took his staff, and sallying forth, we journeyed side by side, bound to the distant Alps. A hardy sleight did this unprecedented course imply of college studies and their set rewards. Nor had, in truth, the scheme been formed by me without uneasy forethought of the pain, the censures, and the ill omening of those to whom my worldly interests were dear. But nature then was sovereign in my mind, and mighty forms, seizing a youthful fancy, had given a charter to irregular hopes. In any age of uneventful calm among the nations, surely would my heart have been possessed by similar desire. But Europe at that time was thrilled with joy, France standing on the top of golden hours, and human nature seeming born again. Lightly equipped, and but a few brief looks cast on the white cliffs of our native shore, from the receding vessel's deck, we chanced to land at Calais on the very eve of that great federal day. And there we saw, in a mean city and among a few, how bright a face is worn when joy of one is joy for tens of millions. Southward thence we held our way, direct through hamlets, towns, gaudy with relics of that festival, flowers left to wither on triumphal arcs, and window garlands. On the public roads, and once 3 days successively, through paths by which our toilsome journey was abridged, among sequestered villages we walked, and found benevolence and blessedness spread like a fragrance everywhere, when spring hath left no corner of the land untouched. Where elms for many and many a league in files with their thin umbrage, on the stately roads of that great kingdom, rustled o'er our heads, forever near us as we paced along. How sweet at such a time, with such delight on every side, in prime of youthful strength, to feed a poet's tender melancholy and fond conceit of sadness, with the sound of undulations varying as might please the wind that swayed them. Once, and more than once, unhoused beneath the evening star, we saw dances of liberty, and, in late hours of darkness, dances in the open air deftly prolonged, though gray-haired lookers-on might waste their breath in chiding. Under hills, the vine-clad hills and slopes of Burgundy, upon the bosom of the gentle Saône, we glided forward with the flowing stream. Swift Rhone, thou wert the wings on which we cut a winding passage with majestic ease between thy lofty rocks. Enchanting show those woods and farms and orchards did present, and single cottages and lurking towns, reach after reach, succession without end of deep and stately vales. A lonely pair of strangers, till day closed, we sailed along, clustered together with a merry crowd of those emancipated, a blithe host of travellers, chiefly delegates returning from the great spousals newly solemnized at their chief city in the sight of heaven. Like bees they swarmed, gaudy and gay as bees. Some vapored in the unruliness of joy, and with their swords flourished as if to fight the saucy air. In this proud company we landed, took with them our evening meal, guests welcome almost as the angels were to Abraham of old. The supper done, with flowing cups elate and happy thoughts, we rose at signal given, and formed a ring, and, hand in hand, danced round and round the board. All hearts were open, every tongue was loud with amity and glee. We bore a name honored in France, the name of Englishmen, and hospitably did they give us hail, as their forerunners in a glorious course. And round the board we danced again. With these blithe friends our voyage we renewed at early dawn. The monastery bells made a sweet jingling in our youthful ears, the rapid river flowing without noise, and each uprising or receding spire spake with a sense of peace, at intervals touching the heart amid the boisterous crew by whom we were encompassed. Taking leave of this glad throng, foot travellers side by side, measuring our steps in quiet, we pursued our journey, and ere twice the sun had set, beheld the convent of Chartreuse, and there rested with an awful solitude. Yes, for even then, no other than a place of soul-affecting solitude appeared that far-famed region, though our eyes had seen, as toward the sacred mansion we advanced, arms flashing and a military glare of riotous men commissioned to expel the blameless inmates, and belike subvert that frame of social being which so long had bodied forth the ghostliness of things, in silence visible and perpetual calm. Stay, stay your sacrilegious hands! The voice was nature's, uttered from her alpine throne. I heard it then, and seem to hear it now. Your impious work forbear, perish what may, let this one temple last, be this one spot of earth devoted to eternity. She ceased to speak, but while St. Bruno's pines waved their dark tops, not silent as they waved, and while below, along their several beds, murmured the sister streams of life and death, thus by conflicting passions pressed, my heart responded. Honor to the patriot's zeal, glory and hope to newborn liberty, hail to the mighty projects of the time, discerning sword that justice wields, do thou go forth and prosper, and ye purging fires up to the loftiest towers of pride ascend, fanned by the breath of angry providence. But oh, if past and future be the wings on whose support, harmoniously conjoined, moves the great spirit of human knowledge, spare these courts of mystery, where a step advanced between the portals of the shadowy rocks leaves far behind life's treacherous vanities, for penitential tears and trembling hopes exchanged, to equalize in God's pure sight monarch and peasant. Be the house redeemed with its unworldly votaries, for the sake of conquest over sense, hourly achieved through faith and meditative reason, resting upon the word of heaven imparted truth, calmly triumphant. And For humbler claim of that imaginative impulse, sent from these majestic floods, yon shining cliffs, the untransmuted shapes of many worlds, cerulean ether's pure inhabitants, these forests unapproachable by death, that shall endure as long as man endures, to think, to hope, to worship, and to feel, to struggle, to be lost within himself in trepidation, from the blank abyss to look with bodily eyes and be consoled. Not seldom since that moment have I wished that thou, O friend, the trouble or the calm, hadst shared, when, from profane regards apart, in sympathetic reverence, we trod the floors of those dim cloisters, till that hour, from their foundation, strangers to the presence of unrestricted and unthinking man. Abroad, how cheeringly the sunshine lay upon the open lawns. Valombra's groves entering, we fed the soul with darkness, thence issued, and with uplifted eyes beheld, in different quarters of the bending sky, the cross of Jesus stand erect, as if hands of angelic powers had fixed it there, memorial reverenced by 1,000 storms. Yet then, from the undiscriminating sweep and rage of one state whirlwind, insecure.